Welcome to Fuelcast, your go-to space for inspiring, engaging, and uplifting conversations, connecting those who want to make a difference in the lives of our children and communities. Together, we are fueling Georgia's future, one conversation at a time. It's now time for Fuelcast Georgia.
Hello everyone, my name is Jason and we are pleased to explain to you our Chicken Churrasco Bowl today. I am the kitchen manager of this team.
Hi, my name is Joshua and I'm the head chef.
Hi, my name is Evan and I'm the cook.
Hi, I'm Tatiana and I'm the sous chef.
So let's start the explanation of our dish with its description. Can we start, Josh?
Certainly. So our dish presents a flavorful, well-seasoned, grilled chicken thigh served on a flavorful rice pilaf, made with red bell peppers, medallion onions, and a long grain whole brown rice. Ivan, would you please explain the chimichurri sauce?
Yeah, of course. So, to add acidity to our dish, we actually brought in a new sauce called the chimichurri sauce that originates from Argentina. This sauce consists of red wine vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, Roma tomatoes, and of course, parsley. Tatiana, can you?
Sure. We were inspired by the fact that in our county the majority are Hispanics. So we noticed that in our cafeteria we didn't have those flavors that we have. So we wanted to add all those flavors that we love.
Our mission as a team is to bring a little piece of home to school cafeterias all across Georgia, which can help celebrate our heritage and share it with our peers. Now, can we move on to the creation process, Josh?
Creation process? All right. So the creation process was tedious, but we somehow managed through. All right. So first, we started off by prepping the necessary ingredients for the rice pilaf and broth mix. Ivan, would you please go into more detail?
Yeah, of course. So after we had our necessary ingredients, we actually sauteed our rice and vegetables to make a rice pilaf, and we brought chicken broth to a simmer to give it that juicy and flavorful taste. Tatiana, can you explain?
Sure. For the chicken, we removed any unnecessary fat that we wanted, mixed it with seasoning, and we seared the chicken to achieve the nice caramelization look.
And last but not least, we have the chimichurri sauce, which is practically the star of our dish. Once we have all three of our components ready, we combine them all to finish our Chicken Churrasco Bowl. So, the completion and finalization of our dish wasn't without feedback. So, Josh, could you expand on our student taste test?
Certainly. So at Berkmar High School, we conducted 2 taste testings, and we found out some shocking feedback. One being that the sodium was too high, the rice was overcooked, and that the chicken was not juicy at all. Ivan, could you please explain how we fixed those issues?
Yeah, of course. So our first issue was that the sodium level was too high for school expectations, right? So what we did to fix this problem is we added lemon to keep that sour chimichurri flavor while bringing down our sodium. Our second problem, of course, was that the rice was overcooked, so that was a pretty simple fix. We just brought down the cooking time to 40 minutes. And last but not least, our chicken wasn't juicy enough. So what we did is that we baked it in the oven with chicken broth to give that flavorful taste.
We thank you for taking the time to listen to our explanation of the dish. We hope our dish has left you saying,
"Shimmy more!"
Welcome to another exciting episode of Fuelcast. We are excited to have our conversation today. We've been fortunate enough to talk to a winning culinary team from Gwinnett County Public Schools, the chef that leads that team, and executive leaders in school nutrition from Gwinnett County. But today we get an opportunity to sit down and talk to one of the Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition's culinary specialists. So welcome to Fuelcast. I am Rolandria, but you can call me Ro.
And I'm your co-host, Anna Coleman, and we are so excited to welcome our culinary specialist, Chef Michael DuBose. Mike, welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
So Mike, you're one of ours.
I'm one of yours.
You're a part of the home team. We want our listeners to learn more about you. So tell us a little bit about you and the middle school and high school competition and how they function. We've already had an opportunity to talk to the students. We want to hear from your perspective.
Well, A little bit about me. I mean, I've been in culinary for quite a long time, plus 30 plus years. I've been with the state now for 5 years. And luckily I get to be part that oversee the culinary competition for school nutrition, which is an honor to be able to do this. So this competition is both for middle school and for high school. The middle school is, right now we just changed this last year. We actually let them create a breakfast menu item. And we kind of heard from some of the instructors some of the difficulties they have. So we made it where they can have one student or a teacher can do a whole class and make it a learning and education in that class that they can do that recipe for. So that is a breakfast item. And now the high school is an entree based on the school nutrition rules and regulations. So they have to learn about the accrediting, they have to learn about the nutrition and calories, all that, and what school nutrition really goes through. And they develop an entree for that recipe, and that is judged on that, and that's what we did this year.
It's amazing. It has been so enlightening hearing the stories of the students and hearing the stories of their culinary teachers, and we like to know your involvement in that process. So tell me this, Chef Mike, what is the Southeast Region competition and how does that work?
Okay, well, the Southeast Region competition is a group of, it's basically 7 states in the Southeast region. So we have Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Kentucky. So they each hold their own state competition, and then the winner, first place winner of the state, gets to go to a location where they compete together all at one time. So they'll have 7 teams up there competing, and there's usually scholarships available for the winners of those competition.
Awesome, amazing work.
So now that you've given us a little background about the Student Chef competition as a whole, we want to talk about this year.
Okay.
So what was your experience like working with those fantastic students from the Berkmar High School culinary team?
This was a great experience with this team. They were just like sponges. They were very apt to really wanting to understand what the process is, taking recommendations that could help them with the competition going forward. They really like to hear how things are done. And they already, I mean, Chef Preston already did a great job instructing these students, where we were pretty much impressed, myself and the other culinary specialists that went and judged them, their techniques that they were already using, you know, from sauteing rice, not just adding water and steaming it. So those little elements there that really, they understand the culinary aspect of what they're doing and how that blends together and creates that whole dish. So it was very impressive how they put everything together.
And so they took first place
They sure
in our
did.
Georgia competition, and so that means they got the most points on the rubric. But what was it, outside of the numbers of the rubric, what was it about their recipe and presentation that really stood out to you and the other culinary specialists on our team?
One is, probably the first thing was, it was just a little bit different than what is on most school menus. So, and it's something that people recognize. People have restaurants in town that they go to, you know, Latin, Spanish, Mexican type flavors are very popular. So it kind of is on trend. So we do watch trends and everything like that. So them using this flavor profile and the way it was built and just the explosion of flavors that were in there just really took it above and beyond what school nutrition really is known for.
Yeah.
After hearing everybody talk about this recipe, it makes me really want to try it. So I may have to figure out a way to make that happen. But, you know, it's great to hear about listening to student feedback and listening to what they want from those flavors, and that this team really brought that to the table.
Right. And it was great too, because I said we did a celebration with them at their school, and the school nutrition put it on their menu. And they were only planning to do like 400 portions to kind of get samples out there. They pretty much had to go and double it.
Oh, wow.
So they went back there and made it again, another batch of it, and I was out in the cafeteria, and students were running to each other, telling each other, no, you got to go up there and try this. So it wasn't just the presentation of us being there. Other students, their students that are there in that school, were going through and telling their friends about it, and they were coming up and getting the same meal. And they were like, this is one of the best meals we've had at the school. So it was pretty powerful. And it's a great recipe, because now we use it and use this as part of some of our trainings when we go into the other districts into the school system.
That's amazing. Having met the students and you telling that story just makes it even more impactful, because they are so passionate about the work that they do, and it's apparent they put that into the product.
Exactly.
And the students, the community is responding accordingly. So that makes me really happy.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, Chef Mike. You were on site to assist the students on the day they prepared their recipes. recipe and served it to fellow students as part of school lunch.
Right.
So what was it like seeing them work in the school nutrition kitchen with their school nutrition professionals?
I think the biggest thing that hit me on that was their excitement. I mean, because they're in their classroom kitchen, which is a lot different from a school nutrition commercial kitchen, and getting around the big pieces of equipment, working side by side with the school nutrition professionals there. They kind of just found that little niche. They I don't know what you call it. They just kind of meshed together very well, and they were excited. They were proud about their dish, so they were more than happy to go out there and help serve the dish and talk to people when they came up there. So it was a very exciting environment for those students to partake in.
Yeah.
And I think it was really exciting for the school nutrition staff there as well to work with the culinary team.
Yeah, I remember one of the students saying one of the benefits of working with the school nutrition professionals was seeing the work that went into preparing meals. It's not somebody just back there, you know, swirling stuff around. It actually takes, you know, qualifications, food safety, all of those pieces to make a quality school meal.
And it also makes that connection to what goes into a K-12 school meal.
Yes.
Because a lot of them might say, well, it doesn't taste good, doesn't flavorful or whatever, but there's reasons why the salt is not in there. There's reasons why it's not, you know, greasy, fatty tasting, but there's ways that we're teaching them now, which this team is very evident of, that it can be done. This is high schoolers that can do it.
Yes.
There's no reason that we can't get school nutrition professionals to make a healthy, flavorful meal using culinary techniques and processes to do that.
Absolutely.
So why do you think it's important for students to participate in things like the student chef competition? How does that make them excited to come to school every day and participate?
Well, I think just that peer involvement that they have, that feedback they're getting, this is a meal that I created. Now I see in 500, 600 portions go out in my school with my fellow students eating my meal. That is huge. And then I think like what, was it Jason or Josh said about leadership, and then understanding that they got more than just culinary out of it. Now cooking is cooking, yes, but there's other things, part of the team effort. You're bringing 4 different individuals together and different components of that and how they worked well together. One takes that leadership role, another one takes the skill set role on things. So the way they find is the way to work as a team, and that leadership and that communication really is key. And I remember during the Southeast Regional competition, when they got into the kitchen, you knew they were there.
Yeah.
And the other teams are like turning around, because this team is like communicating every step they're doing. Hey, we've got this going on. This is happening now. Time to put the chicken in the oven. They'll start the rice. They're communicating so every person knew what was going on. So if something fell out of sync, there's always somebody there right there to step in and make sure the process is happening. And it was a surprise, because the kitchen was kind of quiet until our team came in.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, okay, we're starting this now, doing this now. So that was really evident, and that communication is really key.
Yeah, I think Chef Preston probably embeds that in them, because he talked a lot about being adaptable.
Right.
And I would suspect in a kitchen you've got to be adaptable,
you have to
because
do.
things are ever changing. But the kids are listening and they're applying the skills as they learn them through culinary.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And those are great skills that they learn outside of just the cooking piece. I mean, the confidence and leadership that was exuding from those students was evident to all of us. And so that's a testament to things that they can learn from participating in experiences like the student chef competition.
Yeah, because like see in the interview you did with the team, I believe it was Josh, you said he used to be that type that's kind of in the corner, quiet.
Yep.
And then when he first talking, I said, no, Josh, you got to speak up. I got to hear you. Your teammates have got to hear you. But it didn't fall on deaf ears. They said, okay, I hear what you're saying. I now understand the why you're asking me to speak up. So we know what's going on. And now he was confident enough to come on this and do a full interview. And you can tell that progression with the student, which is pretty amazing.
It is amazing.
Wonderful.
So Chef Mike, how can listeners find more information about entering the Student Chef competition in the upcoming school year?
Yeah, so they can go onto our school nutrition website and find our culinary page, and our information is there. You can find all the videos, you can find the overview document there, and the registration information is there for the teams, or a advisor has to be for the school that works at that school, has to sign up first, and then they can build that team. So that's a very important part. Once they get that information, that there's a partnership with the school. It can be a culinary, it can be a consumer science teacher, or it can be just about anybody, but as long as the school has some type of involvement investment in those students that they can work with them on the process.
All right, so Mike shared the information. If you want to learn more about the Student Chef competition, be sure to visit our website, get those students involved.
So you talked a lot about your passion for Student Chef. It's evident how much you really care about these students, how much you care about quality school meals and culinary as a career.
Right.
So if there's a student out there listening who's interested in getting more involved with culinary, pursuing it as a career, participating in our Student Chef competition, what advice would you give them as a trained chef?
Probably first I'll start off with find out if your school has a culinary program that you can get involved with. Some schools don't, that doesn't mean you still can't participate in the competition. So you might get that taste of it, what you like. So talk to your nutrition school manager, talk to the school nutrition director, see if they're willing to help you out with something like that and be part of that, because it's going to be a process, and you're going to have some guidance in how to run through all the steps and understand school nutrition. But it'd be a great, segue into learning culinary if that's what you're really wanting to do. And then you find that advisor that can help that team, and then you start learning the aspects. And then once you've built that team, then I'm here to help as much as I possibly can. They can reach out to me. Chef John, Chef Rachel are here to help as well, and kind of help guide that desire into it and see if there's something they really like.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So Mike, we talked a lot about Student Chef and its impacts on engagement in school nutrition. Talk to us about the supports that are available to districts from a culinary perspective.
Okay. Well, I think one of the great things about Student Chef going into that is we actually take all those recipes from the Student Chef competition and we will K-12ify them. So we'll standardize those recipes, we'll test those recipes and make it where they make sense for school nutrition to use in their programs, like we did with Berkmar's recipe. So we made it where they can do it and very easily do it in school nutrition. But at the same time, we'll take these things and we have our webpage that has a whole bunch of culinary information on there. We have resources in there from batch cooking to roasting guides, pizza need-to-know items, things like that. We have a recipe database that is all K-12 recipes there that is searchable, very easy to use. We have a menu matrix on there that school nutrition professionals can go in there and help them recreate their menu a little bit, just kind of where it makes sense in different steps. So that's really big things that are there all the time for anybody to use. Also, we do a monthly webinar, which is called Culinary Connections, which is basically geared towards the frontline people, the managers, the frontline staff are our main focus, but the district higher ups, the central office people, can really need to understand what they are going through. So we find those little things that make sense. What's that little niche, that 1% that they can do to improve their culinary culture, improve their quality meal? It could just be, I'm taking the broccoli out of the steamer and we're going to show you how to roast it this time. So that's going to be one little bit of an enhancement that's going to be new to their students, but it's going to elevate their program. So that Culinary Connections, you go on there, you can register on there. It's a monthly webinar, and all those recordings, if you can't make it, are also there. So you can go back and you can use those resources to plan your culinary trainings. You got to do, I can't remember the hours, how many hours school nutrition have to have at the local levels, but use those times to get your training credits, make those training credits count.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
So we want to first of all thank Chef Mike for joining us today. We are so excited to have his support at the state level, bringing his culinary expertise along with his peers to the state of Georgia and helping to amplify the culture of K-12 across all districts. We are excited to have your support for students so they can learn life through culinary. So we thank you for joining us today.
Well, it was my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
Last time you got to hear from Chef Preston Gouge of Berkmar High School in Gwinnett County and his fantastic team of culinary students who took first place in our Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition Division Student Chef Competition. And we're so excited to continue this conversation with some discussion on the school nutrition impact that this competition has. And joining us today, we are so excited to have the Gwinnett County School Nutrition Director, Karen Hallford.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
So to kick things off, we like to let our listeners just get to know you a little bit better. So can you tell us some about where you grew up and how that influenced you into the person that you are today?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Gwinnett County. I went to Gwinnett County Public Schools, K through 12. When I think back on that experience, it was definitely a positive one. You know, I always, while at school and while at home, I always felt very supported. I always felt very safe, and I had a lot of fun in Gwinnett County Public Schools. So it was a great experience. So today, getting to be on the other side and being, you know, part of the GCPS staff who gets to support those students that we have in the schools, it just sort of running in the background all the time is my experience and how positive it was, and I want to make sure that I'm giving that back to the students. So it's really 360, you know, to be back and in a support role to those students when I was a student there myself many years ago.
That's wonderful. And I know Chef Gouge had mentioned he also attended Gwinnett County Public Schools. So it seems like y'all really have a, you know, a good community there that makes you want to give back. So that's amazing.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. So we learned about you. So we want to hear about your career.
Okay.
So how did you come to work in school nutrition, and what is your role in Gwinnett County?
So I'm a registered dietitian,
Okay.
and so when I started out, I worked in a clinical setting, which most registered dietitians do. So I worked for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta with cystic fibrosis for about 5 or 6 years. And loved that position and really wasn't looking for anything new. And I just sort of stumbled across this position with Gwinnett County School Nutrition Program. It sounded really interesting. They were looking for a dietitian to sort of be their menu planner, coordinator. So kind of, you know, threw my name in, not really thinking that it would go anywhere, and everything sort of played out. And I have not looked back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the general consensus with school nutrition. You kind of unintentionally find it, but when you get there, you don't leave.
Yes. Yes.
I say it's connected to the kids and the impact that we could potentially have on the future. So,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So each year, the Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition Division hosts a middle school and high school student chef competition. And as we mentioned, the Berkmar High School culinary team took first place in that competition and went on to represent Georgia at the Southeast Region competition, came in third place there. We were so proud of them. What was your reaction and the Gwinnett County School Nutrition Program's reaction to hearing that they took first place?
Of course, we were super excited, very proud. You know, we had been in on the front end when our Gwinnett schools were part of the Georgia competition, so we kind of got to watch it along the way. And then when Berkmar went to the regional competition and then they won that competition, yeah, we were thrilled. It felt very personal because we had kind of watched it unfold. And they're our students, so of course we're super duper proud. And then it being, you know, food and recipes and, you know, them creating something that is made for school nutrition programs, it all came together, and yeah, it was great. It was great.
That's fantastic. And they talked about how special it was to them to get to see their recipes served in their school cafeteria. And it was so wonderful to see that and how proud they were. So I know they were happy to be working with y'all as well.
Yeah, great. Great.
Yeah, it was a great group of kids.
Yes.
Funny, comical, and they learned so much through the process. And that was the things that can influence their life, which was very significant. So Gwinnett County culinary students had the opportunity to work with Gwinnett County school nutrition professionals and prepare and serve their winning recipe to their fellow students as part of the school lunch. We also saw they aided Gwinnett County school nutrition professionals in another school with a special Taste of College event. So what is the partnership between Gwinnett County Culinary Instruction and Gwinnett County School Nutrition, and how did it come to be?
So over the years, we've always done some sort of collaboration with those culinary programs. So there's several throughout the district, and we've just done different projects over the years. You know, your example was great. Just this last spring, Chef Preston brought a group of new culinary students over to McClure High School, and they helped us with Taste of College. So that was one of their first hands-on cooking experiences that they had had. So that was really fantastic to have all those kids, and it was a lot of them.
I bet.
All those kids in our kitchen and helping prepare the meals for the McClure students. So yeah, it's fantastic, and you know, we would love for it to be more consistent. So it's a little bit sporadic as things sort of come up, and they reach out to us or we reach out to them. But we would love it to be consistent and something that we always did with those programs.
Yes. So what was the students' reaction to the student chef recipe? Did they like it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They did.
Yeah. So first, you know, the recipe is absolutely delicious if you've had it.
So I've heard. So I've heard.
So it's really, really good. Hits on all the notes. And then the students at Berkmar 100% knew that their peers had created the recipe, that it had won an award. So there was a great, you know, job promoting that to the rest of the students at Berkmar. So it was no secret it was going to be in the cafeteria that day. And no, they loved it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing not to love. Like I said, it's so good and tasty, fresh ingredients. So it went over very well.
So I'm guessing that contributed to you all wanting to place it on the menu as a consistent option for students.
Yes,
awesome.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so the student chef recipes are a great way to get that student feedback on what kinds of things they want to see in the cafeteria. We know Gwinnett County has a very impressive social media presence where you share a lot of these, you know, student-inspired menu options. What ways do you all get student feedback to know what they want to see in their cafeterias?
So any way that they'll give it to us. So, you know, we're a large district, but in a lot of ways we operate like we're a small one. So whether it's a phone call, an email, very often the students will send me a DM via Instagram, which is perfect. So any way they want to give it, we're going to take it. And we act on student recommendations and student wants and needs in our menus all the time. Sometimes it's a little more formal where we'll go into a school and have a principal, you know, gather a group of students so we can do a formal focus group. You know, if we're looking for something very specific, some feedback or some intel from those kids. But most of the time it's a little bit organic, you know, or it comes from our managers too. You know, they're seeing the kids come down the serving line, they're noticing what they're picking, what they're not, what they're looking for, asking for. So it comes at us in a lot of different ways, and we are just trying to absorb it as fast as we can. But we really do shift our menu around based on student feedback. And I think, you know, people may think it's more complicated than it is to make a menu change. But, you know, we try and shift and move and do the things that our students are asking for all the time, all year long.
And that's what, you know, creates happy customers who want to come back. And, you know, we saw Gwinnett County has over 180,000 students and 142 schools. So I'm sure it is a challenge getting the puzzle pieces together for what all of those students want to see. But it sounds like you've got a good process in place for making that happen.
Yeah, we try.
You're doing a great job. So how, in your opinion, do things like the Student Chef competition encourage students to be engaged and excited to attend school?
You know, I think it's a great opportunity for the students to feel really seen and heard, not only from their peers in the building, but also from the adults in the building. You know it's important for them to feel connected to the adults in the building and to feel like they belong and that the adults in the building want them coming every single day. So a competition is a great way to do that. You know, they're on a team, they're working on something that's meaningful, so they want to come and participate. So it's perfect.
And that was observed in their entry into the building. They were very well supported from their interview process to transitioning back out, made sure accolades were given. So I know that's a good confidence boost for children.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Karen, as a registered dietitian and a school nutrition director and a mom, what does a quality school meal mean to you?
A quality school meal, you know, I think it starts, of course, with really great ingredients that are, you know, as many fresh and whole foods as possible. Then I think that recipe and the execution has to be really well thought out. And when it comes together on the serving line, you know, it needs to be things that the students get excited about. So I think when all those things come together, great ingredients, it's been executed well, it looks beautiful on the serving lines, and then the kids are super excited to see it, that's a real quality school meal.
Wonderful. And that's evident with this student chef recipe that y'all are rolling that out this school year, correct?
Yes. So we're going to debut it during National School Lunch Week, which has a global theme for cuisine. So it will debut that week in October, and then it will stay on the menu K through 12 for the rest of the school year for sure. And then we'll just see.
Awesome.
Very exciting, giving a great spotlight. So I have one more question for you. If you could speak to anybody listening to this podcast episode, potentially parents or community members, why should they make school meals a part of their child's school day?
We really want them to eat with us. So we are working so hard behind the scenes to give them meals that are quality, that are nutritious, that are compliant, of course, and that the students want to eat. And we know that they need that fuel for their school day. So I just really want parents to know that we are working so hard to make those meals great. We want it to be easy for them. We want them to not have to worry about it at home and just come in and have that breakfast and have that lunch and not have to worry about it. Sort of take something off their plate, so to speak.
Yes.
So yeah, and just give us a try. If they have kids or students not eating with us, just give us a try. We have so many great options and always working on things. We just want a chance, to feed more kids.
And you just might like what you find.
That's
when you get it.
right. Yes, that's right.
So Karen, tell us a little bit about your menu options and where more information can be found.
Okay, sure. So we have several different menus in Gwinnett County. We have an elementary menu, a middle school menu, and a high school menu. And that's based on different flavor profiles and things that the kids of that age group like. So it varies a little bit, but we take it a step further. We build in a lot of options for each local school. So it may be burger day at the elementary school, but those teams in our school cafeterias have the option to put out the fruits and the veggies and maybe top the burger in ways that they know their students really enjoy. So there's a lot of variety that we try to build in so it can be specific to that school. But parents can certainly find our menus on our menu app. We have a website, we have a menu app. They can search NutriSlice on Google Play or the App Store, or go to gwinnett.nutrislice.com to find those menus, and you can click on your school and you can see what's going to be served. You can find allergens and ingredients and nutrition, all that good information. But we really try to have those kid favorites, so those classics that probably everybody has on their school menus, like handheld sandwiches and wraps and salads and burgers and all of that. But then we want to be culturally sensitive as well and offer some varieties from different cultures. We offer a lot of different condiments so students can customize and make it their own. So again, we're a really large district, but in a lot of ways we try and make it feel small, and so that schools can customize to their specific population.
Yeah, and it's evident that it's a large district, but it's community. So you all make every effort, and we heard this theme with the student chefs, meeting the needs of the population.
Right.
So it's really targeted and culturally sensitive, so no one feels excluded but included.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And so for parents hearing all of this, they want to learn more, they want to see more. Where can we find you on social media or out in the world for Gwinnett County School Nutrition?
Yes, so we are on social media, of course. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram page at Cafe Gwinnett. Most of our parents are following us on Facebook. And then we certainly have kids over on Instagram. Like I said, they even send DMs with their suggestions and ideas. But anyone can follow us anywhere. But it's a great place to be because we're almost daily posting photos of our food that's right out of the cafeteria. It's not staged. It's sent, from our managers and from those serving lines so they can see what the food looks like. If we ever have a special promotion that we're doing, it's going to be promoted there. So a lot of great information, and then it's super easy for the parents or the students to, make a comment, ask a question, and we will certainly respond to those. So that's just a really easy place where they can get a glimpse of our program and the foods that we offer, and then they can offer their feedback all at the same time.
Wonderful. Yeah, we like to say with K-12 culinary culture that seeing is believing. So what better way than checking out those photos, following Cafe Gwinnett, and also following us, Georgia School Nutrition Program, on everywhere that social media is.
So many great things happening in Gwinnett County. What are you most excited about for this school year?
For this school year, we're really focused on consistency. But we really just want our schools, serving a solid menu that kids get excited about. For those recipes to be executed really well across the district, and for our kids to have, all the options that we've built into those menus. I do want to mention that we have a chef on staff.
Yay.
Chef Margaret, yeah. So she's really fantastic. So she is constantly, testing recipes, looking at current recipes out in our schools, seeing what's being done really well, what may need a little bit of a tweak, and all those things. So just good, consistent, quality school meals
Yes.
Across the district, and that's our goal for this year.
Awesome. Sometimes it's not always about creating something new, but honing what you already
Yes,
have just to
exactly.
make it better, consistently evaluating it to make it better and identifying those opportunities to improve.
Yeah.
Awesome work.
This has been a great conversation today where Karen really touched on the value of student feedback, collaboration, innovation, and that wonderful culinary skill that's going into all of the meals in Gwinnett County School Nutrition. So Karen, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Want to learn more about school meals in Georgia? Here are 4 easy ways to stay in the know. Learn what's on the menu in your student's school. Follow your local school nutrition team on their social media accounts. Go eat a meal with your student in their school cafeteria. And as always, connect with us, the Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition Division, to know what's going on statewide. You can connect with us via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn with the hashtag FuelingGA. You can also email us at fuelingga@GaDOE.org. Until next time, the Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition Division is fueling Georgia's future with excellence, one quality school meal at a time.
Thanks for joining us on Fuelcast Georgia. Want more of Georgia School Nutrition? Connect with us on social media using hashtag FuelingGA and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We're here every month with new engaging guests and inspiring stories. Have questions or ideas for future topics? Email us at fuelingga@GaDOE.org. Until next time, the Georgia Department of Education School Nutrition Division is fueling Georgia's future with excellence, one school meal at a time.